All right, so here we are closing out this year. This is a week of gratitude at the time of this recording. And I just want to remind everyone as we're getting ready into this holiday season, something specifically for each and every one of you. And here it is: never dim your light just because the room isn't ready for it. Let that sink in. Let's go. Hola, ¿qué tal, mi gente? I am super excited to be able to bring to you Fuel Pasión podcast, where we immerse ourselves dentro de cultura, we grow in faith, and we make those conexiones. My name is Noan El Boricua, and I'm super honored just to once again be your host. And I just want to give a shout out to our son, Noan Jr., for another year of life. Son, we love you. Once again, happy birthday. And we know that you are just truly a blessed man of God. You are a husband, a newlywed, by the way. Shout out to your lovely wife, Itzel. We love you so much. We love you both. And as always, it's all about familia. At the end of the day, remember your tribe, tu tribu. That's what counts. And I just wanted to share that really quick because, son, you know how much I love you. With that being said, I just really quickly wanted to come on here as a special episode. At the time of this recording, we're getting into the season of giving, into a season of an opportunity to be able to reflect and really how we can give back to community, to family, to friends, and all of the above. And I want to make a special video. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Joshua Fedenberg, who is the founder and really the director of Circle of Change Leadership Conference. This is a conference that's been around for a very long time to be able to impact not really just students here locally in Los Angeles, but this is really a nationwide movement when it comes to first gen students. And I want to give you a behind the scenes. I had the honor to sit on a panel this past weekend and to be around some amazing leaders within the HR space. And it was exactly that. Students had a chance to be able to partake of various workshops, main sessions, and really interactive moments of breakthrough and knowing that they could do a lot of great things. With that being said, being on a panel of HR is not so much about the company you work for, but the journey that got you there. And I was really happy to be a part of that. So I kind of want to give you some insights to the questions that we were asked. And I felt that these were, Nikita, shout out to you as a moderator. She did an amazing job. And I think these are questions that are valid. And I hope it can be of help to you. Look, if you're not going into a space of HR, that's fine. I hope that you could take some of these questions and answers that I wanted to partake in and that I did actually, and hopefully it can be some help. So one of the first things that they brought up was the following question. One of the things that, and I'm going to paraphrase some of the questions, was like, kind of like, what do you do and what kind of impact does it really make? And I think for me, one of the things that I said is that as a professional, one of the biggest things that I do is that as a recruiter, regardless of what company I would be at, it's not just about filling a role, but it's really about opening a door of opportunity for a potential talent to come in. And I think for me, that was one of the first things that came out the gate, that I wanted to set the tone and let everybody know that, yes, as professionals of the work that we do, many times it could feel repetitive, it could feel performative, but I think for many of us, and I know I'm talking to you out there, it's more than that. It's an opportunity to be able to make impact, to open doors, and bring in potential talent that's going to be able to elevate the company that you're at to a whole nother level. And that's one of the main things that I wanted to open up with. I think for me that my everyday impact is being a teammate. My everyday impact is mastering the fundamentals that gets presented before me by my leader. And the other thing is just knowing that I get a chance to give opportunities for people to be able to come in and make some amazing strides at this company. So for me personally, that's the type of impact that I want to make. The other question that I love that they brought up was a really great question. And I think this is the heart of it. We were asked, what are some like, I wrote it down here. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay, one of the questions that they ask is, what kind of skills do we look for in up and coming talent? Let it be those coming through internships, or maybe they're young professionals, or maybe you're someone that have navigated a retail space or maybe a nonprofit space, and now you're in a corporate space. So what are some of the skill sets that we're looking for? So Can I just tell you my panel? Shout out to all of them that were on this panel. I'm gonna put a photo up here so you guys get the name. Just Carolyn, Eugene, like just an amazing panel. I think for me, the biggest thing that I said that we look for, and just hear me out, is that we look for people that have curiosity. Now, what do I mean by that? Understanding that you're willing to always seek out information, understanding that having a curious mindset is knowing that even if there's a challenge, you're willing to work it through and also take partnerships and ask questions, right? Remember, we don't expect you to know everything, but what we do expect you is to be curious, to be able to seek out information and seek out partnerships. Remember, the key word in our pillar is conexiones. The other thing that I said is that you're coachable. I think that if you are someone that's walking into a role, are you coachable? Are you willing to be able to hear feedback? And how do you implement that feedback? I think for me, a lot of times we can come in with a lot of issues, a lot of problems, but the biggest thing is, are you coachable? It's like any great athlete. You can be great at one thing, but are you coachable in another aspect? And the last one that I said was courageous. I think a lot of times it takes a lot of courage to put ourselves out there. It takes a lot of courage to be willing to admit fault. It takes a lot of courage to take a certain risk in a big, potential project that you're ahead of or that you're a part of. I think for me, again, if you're curious, if you're coachable, and if you're courageous, look, there's some other one that I wrote down here is humility, consistency, a go-getter, a lot of them, right? But that's one of the questions that we were asked. Now, heading into the next panel set of questions, they asked us, like, what are some unwritten rules in life when you're going into a job or even an internship? And so let me tell you, this panel was amazing at what we were driving. And I think one of the things that stood out to me that I was thinking about is my unwritten rule when I think about like, what are we trying to get after is the following. Just hear me out on this, okay? I didn't get a chance to share this, so I'm gonna share it with all of you. And I think one of the biggest things is that your reputation travels 10 minutes before you do. Your reputation travels 10 minutes before you do. That's an unwritten rule. It kind of goes back to the skills. Are you consistent? Are you a person of character? Are you curious? Are you coachable? Are you courageous? When you master a lot of those things in your professional work, your reputation will travel 10 minutes before you do. The other unwritten rule that I said, and I wrote this down, was that relationships open doors that resumes cannot. That's a hot take, but it's really about those connections. And I think something that stood out to me, the unwritten rule, is that it just takes hard work. And I know we know that. It's something that we hear it, but it's real. Hard work is what it takes. And it's this unwritten rule. And I think the other one that I said, and I want to give a shout out to my boy Malcolm Ford. He said this a long time ago when we had a chance to connect. And he says, always under promise, over deliver. Under promise, over deliver. Unwritten rule. I think we'll do another episode for another day for that. But I just want to kind of close this out with you. As we were like walking through these questions, and before I give you the last kind of thoughts that we gave, I really thought about fear, pressure, expectations, doubt, and the desire to make your family proud. Because I'm looking at these first gen students and they're hungry. And they're really looking for something that they can do great to be able to bring honor, not just to themselves, but to their family. So I think that as the panel, and really for me personally, as I'm looking at these students, we wanted to ensure that, look, your story has weight. Your voice has value. Your cultura has purpose. And as always, don't minimize what God has maximized in you. See, I think for me, the world doesn't want a watered down version of yourself. It needs the most authentic you, which is something that the panel spoke to. You need to be authentic. You need to be genuine. And even Eugene spoke about being relational. Like, how do you build these relationships? So I think for me, when I think about this panel that I was a part of this year, I want to say thank you to Circle of Change Leadership Conference because it's really allowing us to be able to connect with students, young professionals, or those that already graduated. And how do we get them to that next level? How do we connect? And I think for me, the closing of the whole concept was we got to hear a lot of different questions from the audience, which these students came very prepared. But I think also at the end of even the Q&A, Nikita, the moderator, wanted us to be able to interact with the students. So we had a chance to sit there, and students got in line, they spoke to us, and as well, like, us moderators were speaking to each other because we were learning from each other. I think this is the biggest takeaway. These type of conferences are needed. These type of programs are needed more than ever because look, we have a generation that doesn't understand the power of network. We have a generation that has struggled with, like, how do I share my story? How do I validate who I am? And how do I make sure I can put myself out there? So my hope is that, look, as you're closing out this year and you're reflecting how you're going to like level up, look at moments like this. Look, if you're in a college or a high school and there's conferences or programming out there, get after it. Like, tap in. One of the biggest things I told everyone in unwritten rule is tap into the resources in your universities, tap into the colleges, tap into the alumni, because there is where you can find some really great opportunities to like interview people or ask them questions about their journey. I think all of that to encompass is the following. At the end of the day, you belong in every room that you've worked hard for. Where you come from is your strength and not a weakness. Do not ever let comparison or comparing yourself rob you of your calling. And as always, comunidad, community, is your currency. Invest in it. And my last Spanglish word here is confianza is leadership. Know it, own it, walk it, because that's what we need more than ever. So if you're listening and you're still at the end of this video, thank you so much. If you're a first-gen student, if you are a professional, a young professional, an intern, a student, or just someone trying to figure out the path that you're trying to get after, or maybe that you want God to open up these doors for you, just hear me out as I really, really drive this home. You do not have to wait for permission to lead. Start where you are. Like, for real. Start where you're at right now. I want you to show up with courage. That was one of my things that I said earlier. And as a reminder, purpose never arrives early, but always arrive on time. So I'm going to give a shout out to all of you that have really liked my video that I posted on Instagram. I've had over 1,000 views. I think I will post it on YouTube here on this channel, but I just want to say thank you because you're reminding me something that I have to understand, that my purpose will arrive on time when I get a chance to level up in my career, personally speaking. So look, this is not just for all of you, but I take this as well. This is education for me. This is reminders for me. If anything, this is something that really sparks that fire to continually keep going as a professional in this world. As always, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Check it out, fuelpasionpodcast.com. Y como siempre, immerse yourself dentro de cultura, grow in your faith, and always make those conexiones. Look, I hope this is a benefit of this video. If there are more videos that you want to check out or you want to see or you want me to talk on, let me know. We have some down the pipeline, so stay tuned. But as always, I hope you have a safe holiday season as we're going into this. More to come on some videos. But como siempre, como dice mi abuelita, que Dios te bendiga.